Donald Trump is finally starting to show that he is being emotionally affected by the ongoing pandemic, and he has some empathy for once in a video we're going to show you. Unfortunately, he feels bad for himself and has empathy for himself.
He's got a very good approval rating, and I like that. It's good because remember, he's working for this administration. He's working with us, John. We could have gotten other people. We could have gotten somebody else. It didn't have to be Dr. Fauci. He's working with our administration, and for the most part, we've done pretty much what he and others, Dr. Birx and others who are terrific, recommended. And he's got this high approval rating. So why don't I have a high approval rating with respect, and the administration with respect to the virus? We should have a very high. So it sort of is curious. A man works for us, with us very closely, Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx, also highly thought of. And yet they're highly thought of, but nobody likes me. It can only be my personality, that's all.
Well, it's certainly not helping, but I don't think it's only that. Jordan, so he's sort of making the case there that because Dr. Fauci is so, and I love that there's a cat crawling over your head right now in the video, because Dr. Fauci has a really good approval rating, he is very happy about that. And then he starts talking about how I didn't have to have him. I could have had anybody. I'm really happy for him, though. But anyway, and then talks about how he should be getting some of the credit. Now, I assume what like the Dr. Fauci stuff for me has sometimes lapsed into weird hero worship that I think is kind of unnecessary. But what do you think about the people's different view of the advice of like Dr. Fauci and then the overall government response?
I mean, this seems to be like he's upset that the ratings are different, but like this all boils down to him openly contradicting Fauci, not really explicitly heeding his advice. Family members, like Trump's family members, have posted things even as recently as earlier this week, contradicting like pretty base, like standard CDC claims about like coronavirus prevention, wearing a mask. This is like they're pushing conspiracy theories. But Trump seems to think just that he's like associated with him and that Fauci is still at the CDC, that he too should be seen in such noble regard. But you look at how Trump has responded to this crisis overall. You look at now how deaths are piling up and how we are leading the world in number of infections and deaths. It's a complete and total disaster. We're the laughingstock of the world. That's why people don't approve of the job he's doing and really wish Fauci was kind of at the helm on this front.
Yeah, I don't like people, if they like Fauci, the reason, like part of the reason they like Fauci is because Trump doesn't like Fauci. I think that that's part of it. I think people, I don't know that a lot of people would consciously recognize that, but I think that's part of it. I get a kick out of the fact that this guy works in the Trump administration. Trump absolutely despises him. That's some schadenfreude that I need in 2020. But if they like him in terms of what he has said and done, they believe that he actually follows the science and will give advice that largely reflects that. That doesn't mean that that's what the government has done. And Trump can't now whine saying, well, if you like Fauci, you should like me, when we're in like week whatever of his war against Fauci, dispatching his surrogates and all of that to, basically create Oppo research reports on Fauci and to continually claim that he was wrong or misled people early on. But anyway, look, that's the personality stuff. He's obviously so jealous. In terms of the substance, though, if he actually was going to be driven by just wanting people to approve of him, then he should change what he's been doing, because as of July 28th, more than 4 million cases have been confirmed just in the United States. There have been more than 150,000 deaths. There were 1,144 deaths reported just yesterday. We're back above 1,000 for multiple days now, close to a week. And in terms of his approach, you can't pretend that you're Fauci when just 2 Sundays ago, you were still calling testing overrated. And right now, your goons are negotiating with the Senate and saying that there should be less money for testing and tracing, there should be no overarching government response, all of that. Your rhetoric is horrendous and uncaring and ineffective. Your leadership is totally absent. And when the Senate tries to do your job for you, you try to step in to stop it. It's not about throwing a pitch. It's about the effect you've had on the pandemic, and yours has been abysmal.
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly. This is deeply rooted jealousy from Trump, because it's not really about performance It's about, as we've seen so many times before in his presidency, it's about media coverage. It's about like kind of like a pop culture aesthetic. Like he just wants to be like the Kennedy type president where everyone fanfares over him, but like his own incompetence gets in the way, and just like now his own like narcissism is impacting how he responds to a global pandemic. It's absolutely incredible that we're in this moment. And even still, I mean, I know there's no floor for congressional Republicans, but even still, that they're kind of going along with this bogus hoax narrative, just to some respect. Not, you saw people aren't wearing masks in Congress. It's flabbergasting. I have no idea what the future has in store for us, because I feel like it could only get worse now.
Yeah, I mean, like he's like, what? Come on, Fauci's great. Just look at me like Fauci. Yesterday he was retweeting the demon semen woman, saying that COVID has a cure. No, but like, but if it has a cure, then why hasn't Trump used it? The whole thing, like, I guess I'm glad that their new conspiracy theory is at least based on saying that the coronavirus is real. That's a step up. Unfortunately, they think that you get it by having sex with witches that aren't real. They're mind witches. I don't know. Yeah, that may be part of it. It's not just your personality, Trump, although that's certainly not helping. Literally anything, least of all yourself. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.